I was told there would be no math on the test. I'm sorry. Oh no.
So
I could tell you, I had this new office mate at work. He's kind of a pain in the butt.
Oh, he is. I've met him.
And I hope he gets his own office soon. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, I know. I hear he chews really loud and clicks his pen a lot. So. All right, let's get the show started.
Sector 2 reporting in. This is Vanessa Marshall, and I play Hera Syndulla on Star Wars Rebels. You're listening to the Hyperspace Heroes podcast. That's no moon. Take it.
And now, on with the show.
Time for bladder check. 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 Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Brown Squadron.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes podcast.
And welcome to Hyperspace Heroes, episode 164, or 189 on the Spotchka scale. All wing report in.
Brown 4 está. Here I am. And you know, it's much. I love having Scruffy with us, so there's the threesome on the show. But when it's just two of us, I get a bigger picture, and I'm not relegated behind all the graphics. So hey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scruffy is on special assignment tonight. He's getting a little shell shocked. So, but yeah, we have a great guest on the show tonight. We've been advertising it for a couple weeks now. And this gentleman, Mr. Paul Darnell, is joining us tonight. He's been in the industry as far back as I can tell, like 2007. So quite some time doing mostly stunt work. He's a performance artist. He's best known as our favorite Maroc, and we're gonna for sure ask him some questions about that tonight. But he's had quite the career, 74 credits, I think, currently in IMDb.
Wow.
And I think with that, we're not gonna waste any time tonight. I think we're just gonna go ahead and bring him on. Welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Darnell. Paul, welcome.
Hey, Paul.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk some Star Wars and get into it.
Right on. So, okay, so we'll just get right into it. First question, we always ask our guests, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars, since I've been working in this Disney Plus Mandalorian sort of series, we're in Manhattan Beach and we're into Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka. I think of family. And what is created with this and coming together to try to create these shows is everybody's working together and not only just working on the shows, but then also going to these conventions as well and meeting everybody. It opened up a whole new world that I didn't know about. And I just feel like a big family that you get to be welcomed into, and it was so great to be a part of that shooting process because everybody wanted to make something special and we're all there to help each other out and see what we can do to make this the best that we could.
I love that answer because we asked that question of all our guests and we get 1,000 different answers that all come back to the same place. You say family, but you have such a unique perspective being on the inside. I love your answer to that. So I'll jump into the second question. Can you think back before you were part of the family to your first Star Wars experience? Can you remember it?
Yeah, for Star Wars, my cousins were really into it. They were older than me, so they went to the theaters or were able to see Star Wars in the theaters. Obviously, young for that, but they would always have them at their house, and they would play them all the time. And first, what connected with me was the Ewoks, and I think I just really liked their village that they had, and that's something that stayed with me. Maybe it was the right time, just thinking tree houses were cool. But that has always, I just liked that vibe of this living in the wood. I grew up in Virginia and I had a lot of woods around me, and just seeing what they had created just kind of just inspired me to like always keep that, like building bridges between houses. And I tried to build my own tree house growing up. And that's like the first thing that kind of comes to mind, is thinking these little Ewoks around. And also they were so, they were cool. There was little people that looked cute, but then they were also helping, fight. And yeah, Ewoks, that's the one that is with me.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool.
Tree houses are always cool. Just saying.
The trap doors, the bridges in between. I was thinking that's kind of influenced me for like design, to be part of like some parkour gyms and stuff too. And I always wanted to create something like that, like my own Ewok village.
That's very cool. So what got you into becoming a stunt performer? Was that like always something that was always on your path, or was that, because everybody's got a different journey into where they end up in life?
Yeah, everybody falls into, what they get into. For me, I was always in a movement, and growing up, I played baseball. Traditionally, that was my sport. I just practiced baseball all the time. That's what I wanted to do, and be a professional baseball player. Once I got to high school and realized that I wasn't good enough to make it to the pros, I kind of pivoted and I tried a lot of different sports. But I was also trying breakdancing and just wanted to learn how to flip. And I was really interested in what your body could do. And I had this group called XJ, Extreme Jumping. And the initiation was if you could jump off my parents' 13-foot roof and land without breaking a bone.
Oh.
So I had guys do it, it was a small group, but it was at a time you're exploring, trying to figure out what you can do. You're just trying to get muscles, but you don't have them. You're just trying to see what you can do with this body as you go to puberty and figuring all that out. And I think that's what led me into this curiosity of I found parkour. Before it was parkour, actually, it was like I was watching online videos. One popped up, or actually before it was like Ripley's Believe It or Not. When that was on, they had a segment of this French team, the Yamakasi, and they were just running and jumping. And I was like, that's what I'm doing here in Virginia. And I found out about that. And I was like, I really like that. And at the same time, I was getting into Jackie Chan films. And Bronx, I saw him navigating through it. And that sort of connected me with, well, I like to do all these jumps. That's a really cool trick. He's using his body to navigate these environments. What is he doing? And then I found out about Stuntman. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to be. And so in high school, I decided I want to be a stuntman, and I started figuring out how, kid from Virginia, Gloucester, Virginia, smaller town, how could I do that? And that's kind of what set me on this path.
I got to jump in there because I'm familiar with Gloucester because I lived in Yorktown for a while.
What? That's
back in the 90s. So yeah, that's kind of cool that I know where you're from.
You actually know, that's so rare. Nobody ever knows when I say that. They think of like in Massachusetts or up north, Gloucester. And but yeah, it was great for me because it's spread out, and where I grew up is a lot of trees and woods, and it just allowed me to, I don't know, be bored and get creative in that sense, So.
Yeah, well, one of our listeners, and Brown Leader, I don't know if you can put that on the screen, Star Wars Hunter 1899 wants to know how many broken bones you had there from jumping off your parents' 13-foot roof.
Zero. I've never broken a bone in my whole career.
Seriously?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've sprained ankles many times. The one actually I got on Twilight, I separated my shoulder. That was a pretty gnarly one, but I've never broken a bone. And I want to keep it that way if I can. But yeah, I've got a lot of bumps, bruises, and twists and tears. But yeah, weird. I don't know. I left out.
Wow. Right on. And welcome to everybody in the chat tonight. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, let's kind of. So Twilight was one of your early jobs that you got. What is the casting process like for getting into the stunt performer side of the industry.
Yeah, that's great. To get into stunts, it's all about who you know and who knows you. So part of it, once I moved out to Virginia, I moved from Virginia to LA to pursue this career as a stunt performer. I found out where the stunt people trained, and I went to this gym called Gymnastics Olympica, and this is what I had heard, that all the stunt people train there, and you can meet them. And so that's what I would do. I didn't have a car. I would ride my bike from where I was, Studio City, over to this place in the valley, and try to sneak in because I didn't have any money, and until I got kicked out, and try to come back again the next night and meet these people, and then show them my skills, because I had been training. Also in high school, I was just outside training. Oh, in college, I went to college. I did gymnastics in college, and then I started taking my gymnastics skills outside. And so I had a set of skills. It was more on the gymnastics side, but then I transitioned into the parkour side. Gymnastics was just something I did, but parkour was my passion. And so I just was telling people and showing them what I could do and do all these flips. And hey, here's my video. And my first job was this movie called Evolution, where they were looking for these athletic, agile zombies, but they didn't call them zombies. And I was working as a physical therapy assistant at a place in Studio City, and the stunt woman came in, and she'd come in often. And then she's like, "Oh, my friend has this project, and she needs somebody kind of like you." And I'm like, yes, please. And so she put me in there, and I got tap parties, which allowed me to join the union. And I did my flips, my tricks as a zombie, and that's what got me into the stunt business. And it was connections, just telling people.
So, like anything else, it's networking.
It's totally networking in that sense. It's having the skills to back it up, but you need to know the right people. Yeah, you have to network to know, because that's all what it's about. Like, know that you exist. Get out there.
Right on. And so you got Evolution, and then eventually you kind of moved on to Twilight, and it's kind of cool because as a stunt performer, or you're the double for Robert Pattinson, and now 15 years later, you're getting to be his stunt double again in an upcoming movie, which is pretty cool. What is that relationship like between the actor and the stunt double?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get on the project with Robert Pattinson on Twilight. Before, I wasn't even going to do it. I had another job lined up. I was on Race to Witch Mountain. I was doubling a Siphon character, and so I was already slated to do that. But it wasn't shooting for a couple of months. And in between that, I got hit up by Andy Chang, who was a coordinator on that. He's like, you would be a really good double for this movie. This character, Robert Pattinson, he was the Harry Potter stuff, and I think you would be a really good double. And so he brought me in, met the director, said, yes, let's use Paul. And so I talked to the other job and said, yes, you can do it, but just don't get hurt. And like I mentioned before, I suffered my shoulder. So that kind of didn't work out so much. But I did that, and I was very new to stunts at the time. I think that was my second sort of film. Before that, I got on You Don't Mess with Zohan, doubling Adam Sandler for his parkour scenes, because parkour was so new at the time. Again, that's what got me in. And then I got over to Twilight, and it was great. Nobody really knew what it was. They said it was a book series, and we were all kind of reading it there, but we didn't know the level, I think, or understand the level that it was going to be, or how fans would connect with it. And it was chill. Just hang out with Rob and the cast and the director, and we would just train and work on the stunts. And it was really cool because it was at the beginning, but you also saw how somebody goes from not well known. By the end of that film, actually, there was hordes of young girls and moms waiting at the locations that we're at, just to get a glimpse of Rob as he passed. And that was a big change. And we stayed in touch just a little bit. And then after that, we kind of disconnected. It looked like after the Twilight movies, took a step back a little bit, did some independent films and more artsy films. And then he's back. Batman. He's doing Batman. And unfortunately, I didn't get to double him with that. That was over in Europe, and so I think he has his European guys. But when I'm here in America, usually I get called to double Rob for that. So we connected again on the Odyssey. He was there. They called me for that, and then right after that was Here Comes the Flood, which we shot in New Jersey.
Oh, very cool. That's very cool. So how did you then eventually work your way into getting connected with the Star Wars franchise? Because you were we first had you, you're I think 9 episodes of The Mandalorian, and how did your relationship with Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise begin?
Yeah, that was all connections again, like we were talking about right there. I worked for another coordinator. I worked on Superman, Man of Steel, I doubled Henry Cavill on Man of Steel, and the fight coordinator on there, he got hired as a stunt coordinator on the first season of Mandalorian. And so he was like, "Oh, Paul, we're shooting in Manhattan Beach. It's near where you live. It's like a Star Wars sort of spinoff. It's kind of like Boba Fett. We weren't sure what it really was. Like Mandalorian." And yeah, that sounds really cool. And he's like, "Come on in and let's see if we can get you one of the characters, maybe a stormtrooper or something." But they brought me in and they have you stand against a wall and there's a piece of tape on it. And at that time, they were measuring everybody to see if they were the right height to be a stormtrooper. And I was not the right height, and I could see that. And I was trying to get low to try to make it because I was like, I want to be on this. And you can see they're like, "Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming in. Unfortunately, yeah, you're not going to work for a stormtrooper. You're too tall, but to keep you in mind, And so I didn't think I was going to hear anything, but yeah, I got brought back in. It was on the first episode of The Mandalorian, and that was cool because it was there when they were revealing Baby Grogu and all of that. But I got to play another character on the planet that no height mattered, and you'd either wear these silicone masks or wrapped up in some goggles and just fight when IG-11, came in.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Very cool. That's funny. That's always been the Star Wars joke, right? Not tall enough to be a stormtrooper for Luke in the original movie, and now here you are, too tall for a stormtrooper. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll try to make everything work they could. But yeah, that was my thing. I thought I lost it, but luckily they got back in, and then from there, my name was in there. They knew I was close, and so I could just come back in and fill little spots. And I've played lots of characters through there and wore lots of droid suits and things that I've even forgotten. I've died so many times on there. They used to keep track how many times I've died or been scanned. Because I was just the utility. The utility stuff got to there and do whatever you need, perform there. And then it switched over on Boba Fett. When they're shooting Boba Fett, the coordinators switched and my name got put in because they're like, "Oh, there's this other guy we use. He's good stunts. You should check him out." And it's the first time I worked with this coordinator, JJ Dashnell, and he brought me in to try it. And he's like, "Oh, you do parkour? There's a parkour scene in this, and let's see what you got." So I'd audition on the spot and show him some stuff, and he's like, "Okay, I think it's going to work." And so then I got placed in this Nightwind Assassin part, and again, that's was perfect for me because my background is parkour. This was parkour related. They let me help design the parkour sequence in there. I worked with Andrew Jones, the set production designer, and we got to come up with create some sequences that he was able to really use this modular set and keep it all very tight on our back lot, but film it in different ways that he could stretch it out to make it look like a long, fluid parkour rooftop scene. But all was actually just a sort of cube that he had created. So we worked within the confines of that, and that was really fun. Again, just being on there and people starting to know you, so that they give you little chances to see what you can do. And if you can step up, and they'll continue to use you.
Yeah, how empowering is that when you get to help design the sequence? That sounds so cool.
That's again like peeling away the curtain a little bit to see how they're putting all this together. All the computers they're using, the rendering. You put on these VR headset and you get to look inside the set that they've created and see what it's like to get an even more feel before they built it, so you can see this right. Oh no, we should move this a little bit further so that you can pass through this or jump over that. Or very good process, and the thought we put into it is so I get mind blowing in that sense. But I love how they put so much thought into it to create something so special and know what they're going to get before they shoot it, And it's inspiring to see, okay, that's how they do it. That's a good standard to try to emulate that standard for other shows.
That's cool. That's cool. DB, did you have another question?
I have tons of questions, but I'm just so excited listening. I'm curious because you do stunt work and you talked about, being wrapped up and wearing rubber masks and stuff, but then you've had the opportunity to be an actor and show your face, like in Jurassic World. How do you approach it differently? I mean, is it fun to be able to develop your own character?
Yes, it is very fun in the sense that you kind of own that character, and your decisions you're making are what's going to be put forward as that and establish that character. I do like that. I also really like the challenge of doubling and trying to emulate another person's movements and styles as well. I don't know why. I think it's just from movement. We talked about just like movement, and that's one of those things that connects more on the stunt side and performance. But what's also fun that I've really enjoyed in Star Wars too is you wear a lot of masks, so you can play these different characters as well and develop them with that. Then when it comes to the acting, I found I just was never very strong at speaking lines. And so I never went down that path. I put the time and energy to really do that. I am really amazed by actors of how they can remember the lines, put the emotions into it, and really get it. For me, it's basically get down, stop, no. That's easy. You can throw that off and put me in the spot. But when it's too big, it's something that I haven't trained in that sense, and I appreciate the people that have and what all the work that goes into being a strong actor. But it is fun to play different characters, and I like that, and I like the challenge when I'm presented to try to throw some lines and interact. It's very fun to see what you're doing and to let your guard down so that you can just become the character.
Right on.
Well, can we move into talking about Marak then? Am I going too quickly on this, Brown Leader?
No, you're fine.
Because here's a character that has no dialogue, but is so threatening at the same time. What I mean, I think when the show came out, when Ahsoka came out, I think we talked about Marak more than any other new character, because who is he? What is he? Where does he come from? I mean, I half expected to be interviewing, a gaseous cloud tonight, but no, you're a human. So
green, we will see.
Yeah, so inquiring minds want to know, did you know when you filmed that he was going to turn into green mist at the end? Spoiler alert.
No.
Or was that a surprise, like when you watched the episode you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yes, total surprise. I did not know, because we hit it, we did the thing. I'm on my knees, I'm like, hold it, and then I just kind of face plant and die. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. He goes out and slice of samurai style death.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was gassed? I was green gas the whole time? What? Okay, we gotta find out more. Who is this dude? Why is he gassed? Where did he come from? Was he a human before? We gotta find a backstory. I was so interested in that. Yes, so going into that whole process with Marak, again, been on the show, played the Night One Assassin, and played different parts. I think I maybe had done the Street Hawk Mando as well too, which is another Mando that had just a little bit more presence on screen and giving us more roles. And then they were looking for somebody to do Marak, and so the stunt coordinator, David Dashnell, coordinated to Dave Filoni, and so did also the costumer, Shauna Trumpet. She worked with me a lot on the other ones, and she got to know me very well, and she was like, hey, Dave, Paul, I think would be a really good person for this role. I mean, he's got the height, the build, and the movements that you sound like you're looking for. And so with those two help, they pitched me to Dave, and then I got the green light. They said yes, and I was like, wow, okay, this is a lot on me. So I really harnessed and worked. I did some Kali and sticks, and so that I worked on my bow staff skills to make sure I get those in line. It's hard with that double lightsaber. And the Inquisitor sort of blade, it's hard to move your hands, so you have to really adapt how you spin some of the movements and what strikes you can do. And I just went through that process. And then I think the first day of filming, we shot in the woods, like my dad. So I was like, oh, okay, this guy dies right away. Okay, that's great. So what episode is this? I was like, how far along does he make it? And then Dave didn't tell me too much about it. He was just saying, okay, let's just see what you do with this character, but I will give you the notes of he's weathered and he is like a mangy dog. And I was like, okay. So he was like, he's been around for a while. He had some symbols and everything. It was like he wanted this rustic looking suit of armor, so that he had some stuff in the back. And he had some lines before that were kind of related to Darth Vader. So, but they got stretched out. So I don't know, with that, where he was really coming from. He kind of kept it vague in that sense of more of a warrior that's been through a lot. Don't know how long or old or whatnot, but he's now this hired sort of assassin that works with Balin, Skull, and Shin. So that's my notes. And so just kind of playing this thing, he wanted him a little bit more lopsided to be, and just be like this oldish sort of dog that's weathered, yeah. So it was really fun. It was really fun because then I got to explore it and try different things, on the day. And then he had this cool cape that I liked, and then using that and playing with the styles, worked with the fight coordinator, Ming, and she helped develop a lot of very cool fight sequence. I worked so much with Rosario, and that was a pleasure to work with too, because even on that show, I was Morocco, but I also played all these droids. So if you see, the CG droids, that's people are me in like a gray suit, and then I'm fighting Rosario.
Oh, you did mocap for that?
Yes, and so we'd be all the day shooting that as well. So we plug into different spots, and I would just be there. It would bring me in, and it was like a core, and then my main thing was Morocco, and I would do that and train with everybody in Rosario, and then also train other fights and other scenes. They'd plug me in to other spots that were open too.
That's cool.
Do you even have any idea how many different characters you've played?
I keep forgetting. No, I wanted to. I need to write it down and really look into it, because it's one of those weird things too. Is like I'll be thrown in. There's one day I was 3. I did like 3 different outfit changes that day, and I was running back and forth and jumping into different scenes and covering these characters. I remember I even had to step in one day for like the Black Wookiee. I was there, and it's something that I just had to. I can't deal with that. Maybe a hand grabbing something and doing that, and then Trandoshan, all these just little pieces that I should have written down. I need to go through each episode and see, because a lot of them are little parts. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't make it. So I kind of blur too.
Oh yeah,
it is the different. When you've been on them, I blur the shows a lot, because we've gone from one to the next, and then I'm like, when did that one stop? When did this one begin? And they're kind of similar, so I do kind of lose track a little bit of that. But I wish I could find out actually how that list.
Those shows interweave a lot.
They do interweave a lot. Yeah,
they do. Hey, fun fact. I bet Brown Leader doesn't even know this. You got to work with Rosario Dawson. She and I share a birthday. I'm just saying. I'm older than her. But we share a birthday.
She was amazing, and she was such a positive person. And what was so nice about having her is being like the lead on the set. She would come in with the best attitude. She was never grumpy. She was never sad. And she always came in ready to work. And meaning that, you can be around and you have a bad day and people are down. Not Rosario. She made sure, I don't know what her mentality was, but she always was positive. And she would always come around and let's do this. Never got down, and would always want to make it happen. And that was a very nice energy to have, especially on long days. You're getting towards the end. Everybody's getting tired. The people are getting grumpy. But you have this one ray of light that's there, and she's trying to lift everybody up. And that was something that I'll always remember, and always try to keep with me when I go somewhere and try to think. I'm like, Rosario would not be upset right now. Like think about that as like a motivation to get through, what you're doing. And that was just cool to see it in practice, because you'll hear about it, but the bad days. But to see it was really cool. So I always have that in my mind. A true professional, and a pleasure to be around.
That's such a great compliment. That really is.
It is. You had mentioned something earlier about the fight choreography and the fighting in Ahsoka was very samurai-like, which as a viewer I picked up on, and I love that style. That's why some of the fights in Ahsoka are some of my favorite. How long did you guys have to train in that kind of style to get that down?
We started right after, I think, Mando season 3, and we went the next we had that Friday off or that weekend off, and went right on Monday and started getting right into it. So we that week Rosario came in, and myself and two of the coordinators and the fight coordinator were involved with that. So we started to build up the team from there and work on it, but we did have some prep time. I don't know how long we had. I feel like it was at least 2 months or so to really work and drill out that. Natasha and Ivana would come in, and we would work with them, and then starting from their footwork to their stances, and then to their strikes. And so just going over the basics to get very clean lines and understanding how the sword would move. And also Ray was there too. He really was trying to build his character up. His lightsaber is a lot longer, so he wanted to have a different style, a heavier movement with that. And so it was all kind of worked in, and we did have a good amount of time to try to put it into practice with the actors and myself, and working it all together. So that was a fun process as well, getting to know everybody and trying to adapt a Jedi to samurai-ish style, and also the showcase of Sabine being less acquainted with her lightsaber, and then getting a little better as the show progressed too. So.
Oh, that's cool. Now, was it so you had just come off Mando season 3, and you did the Praetorian? You were a Praetorian guard in that, where you fought Paz Vizsla. Was that how was it? Was it hard to transition from one fighting style to another, or was it just kind of a natural?
Yeah, not so much in the sense, because of the costumes kind of dictate some of the movement you're allowed to do. With the Praetorian guards, they have the long helmets that come down, so you are very limited in sort of your head movement. I believe they do have the gauntlets. Gauntlets are very restrictive, but for their legs, they're just wearing these long sort of dress skirts, and you have freedom for your legs, so you can kind of flow through that too. But what you're limited as well is you pick up on is the chest pieces of how much you can bring your arms over here. We can cross and do cool stuff that you have to keep open. So it'd be bigger sort of movements depending on which weapon you have. I had the longer weapon with the blade at a single end. Another guy had like the sword, nunchuck sort of thing, and the double-sided one. But no, it's interesting is when you are them, you become that sort of character. The suit kind of puts you in that mindset of being there, and then sort of have this more stiffer, stoic movement and clean lines. So it wasn't too bad to transition. Once you get there, it is hard when you are just doing the choreo and freely doing it, but you have to remember that you are restricted by that. And I saw that a lot with Lateef Crowder, who doubles Mando and is the stunt performance of Mando, and he will wear like this suit, and he has like weights on his hands or wrists and his ankles to remind him how heavy it is to do this and what speed he'll be going, so that when we are rehearsing, that it's more of a real thing versus when you're practicing something light, you can go so fast and movements look really nice, but then when you get on set, you're like, oh, this is not working, and then you have to change it all up and become an issue. So prepping for that beforehand is a great way to do it. And I learned that actually from Lateef. He tries to wear stuff as well.
That's neat.
Put himself in that mindset.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So I had a question about a particular shot, and going back to Mando, where it's a bunch of Mandos. It's the opener of season 3, and there's the giant like dinosaur alligator thing that attacks. And I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen really quick. But this is you flying away from the creature, and I'm assuming a lot of that was filmed in the volume or something. But how did they get that shot in terms of?
They did a lot of that on the back lot. Like that whole thing was was on the back lot. Yeah, I think it was for the lighting reasons and the scale. They had a big water pit that they dug out for that. And they brought in cranes for wires. So then we just had the wire work that I think they would allow. That can be a little bit limiting inside the volume on how they have it all set up, because now they have all the 360 and the top and the roof where you can get some wires, but pulling up panels can be a little tricky. So for scenes like that, we would just be on a long crane with the tech line wires connected, and we would do some shooting up. I think Carl Weathers was directing a bunch of that. and a lot of our training sequences that we were doing on the beach with all the Mandos out there and everything. But yeah, that one was, most of it was shot on there, or then they would take little pieces of that sort of turtle. I remember we had to try to, they created this special effects that created a section of the turtle where there was like 3 of us trying to hang on. We were trying to shake this off and stabbing with my knife and trying to hang on. But that was fun too. But that was with blue screen around behind it, but still outside. Yeah, they did that with some blue screen.
Right on. So question from the well, let's see. Speaking of that Mando, the Shriekhawk Mando, did they ever give you a name for that character, or was it just kind of Shriekhawk?
Yeah,
and thank you, Max.
Shriekhawk Mandos, which is a nice Shriekhawk Mandalorian. No, there was no official name that I'm aware of that was given that. That was always in the script and the sides, the Shriekhawk Mando.
Okay, and the same person, Max Rebo Experience, he also wants to know is, do you have hundreds of those blue Mando action figures?
No, I don't actually. No, I don't. I don't think I have any of them. I think I just very slow collection, and something pops up. Got some, the Funkos of Barack and like a little Lego set that my son gave me of Barack. And I got this really cool, was a lightsaber from an Inquisitor that the director, Steph Green, of one of the episodes in Ahsoka gave me. And I just kept this, and she just like signed it and autographed it for me. So I kept that, and my kids are always like, why don't you open that, Dad, and use it? Like, come on, let's use your thing. And, no, I want to keep this as is, but no, I haven't collected a bunch at all. If they come, they come. But I see them. I think they look so cool. Like they did a really good job.
Right. And then another question from Star Wars Hunter 1899: if you could play any character, who or what would you want to play?
I mean, Maul is such an iconic one, and that's the other one that was inspiration, is getting a Star Wars, not getting in, but as I got into watching the shows, and those episodes came out later on when I was older. That and starting the stunts, I was like, who is that character? He's so cool. He looks cool. He's doing cool movements. And I found out he was, a pretty stunt guy, big part. And wow, now look, he did it, and there's a pathway. Maybe I can get into that role, or maybe, not that role, but like follow that path to something like that. And I don't know. I always thought he was one of the cooler characters. I just liked his movement and style in that. Again, being kind of, not much lines, mysterious. Darth Maul.
That's cool. Maul is iconic, right? And it was great, that Star Wars has done a good job with villains, because Maul was like a really great villain, and then in Ahsoka we had, like DB was talking about previously, I think we did so much talking about Balin and Marak, constantly through Ahsoka, and it was just Disney has done a fantastic job with villains.
Star Killer?
Yeah, Star Killer. Mm-hmm. Speaking of video games, so you did stunts for it's, or at least it's in your biography, that for the Call of Duty World War II and Infinite Warfare. So was that like mocap that you did for that?
Yes, so that got me in the mocap world. I was doing that for about 2 years in a sense, and we would shoot here in LA and some in San Francisco, and we'd fly out for the day and do that. And that was really fun to be a part of the Call of Duty franchise. And there's mocap. We're in the mocap suits with all of the balls. And that was doing a lot of stuff. It would be from cinematics where we are acting, but a lot of it was more just the gameplay where all positions, you're just running fast, running with gun, running and shooting, squatting, running. It's a really hard job to do. You're in all the positions, you're doing all 8 lines. Okay, run this way, run this way, run this way, run this way, and then run backwards, run backwards. Now keep at this tempo. And now point your gun this way, point this way. It was so hard, but so fun. And I loved it too. And it was also like a real job. You start at 8 and get out at 5. So it was like I was like, this is like a real, like, active stunt job. I mean, like a job that you could have, like, for real. And I know I can tell my wife I'll be home at 5:30 or whatever, versus, you never know when you're going to be off a set and things like that. So mocap work was really fun. And the people there at Call of Duty were really fun to work with. And you'd have like 2 people, so you'd swap in and out of performing, but then everyone there was it was fun. It was fun to be a part of that.
That's cool. DB.
Wow, we've been all over the map. One of my, I mean, when I was reading up, doing research for this tonight, I mean, you've been in so many epic franchises: Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Twilight. I didn't know you were in the new Matrix or the most recent Matrix.
Yeah, so I played in the Matrix just a little bit. That was when lucked out. I was in San Francisco at the time, and I got called in to do, I think I was on Venom, and they needed some wire work, and I was just sort of like a mocap suit again, doing work with them. Tom Hardy, I got to carry him and pick him up. And we did a little stunt where I guess I'm Venom or she Venom. I didn't really know. It was such a last minute thing. They just kind of brought me in, and then I'm carrying him up in these lines up like 3 stories up, and he's harnessing to me. We're all safe, and then I'm supposed to drop down into a car. It breaks, car hood, and then jump to the ground, boom, and then run off with him. And so that was a really fun experience. And he was actually pretty light. He was like, I'm a lot lighter than I look. Don't make it, or whatever he was saying. I can't relax him, but it was just going for it. And it was really cool, like just to be in that position and be a part of that film too. But then also we're shooting The Matrix, I think, following week. And my stunt coordinator that I worked with before, that kind of got me in business. Doing the Zohan movie and then Mace Witch Mountain, and I've worked with him a bunch. He kind of taught me on the ropes and took his boy from Virginia in. He was doing The Matrix up in San Francisco, so he called me in for a week, and I just worked on there, just playing in the background, just a stunt performer as Keanu was like riding his motorcycle, and then he started to like force sort of blast people back, and I'm just a performer that just gets blown back into the crowd and dies. That's when you start meeting stunt people that are performing, you see their face, and now that if I know them, I'm like, oh, they're gonna die. Something's happening. Fight's about to break out. That person's gonna hit. So just wait, and it kind of ruins it a little bit because you're like, oh, something's happening. But then it's cool because you know that those are stunt performers. Action is about to go down.
That's a perspective I hadn't thought of before.
Right?
Yeah. When you see your coworkers on screen.
Yeah.
And that was something else I was thinking about is you do all this hard work to make all these actors look so heroic. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, you've doubled for Henry Cavill, Robert Pattinson, Timothy Olyphant, and I was surprised. I did not know that you were in Zohan with Sandler. I mean,
super cool.
You do the dirty work.
I'm so sorry.
No, you go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm there just to help out, and that's what I like. I think for me, I've always just enjoyed being behind the scenes. I will definitely just step up if someone wants me to step up and get an opportunity to play a character and dive into that. But when I like being there, just to fill in a blank if it needs to be filled in. And so my goal is to try to get the actor to do as much as they can. But usually it comes down to the studios of how much they're willing to do it, let them do. And also, a lot of times they don't need to fall down 20 times and take that fall. Let me do that because I've trained in a way that I know how to take that fall, and I can do it over and over without getting hurt. Anybody can fall down, right? You can all fall down and do it. The actors could do it, but when you have to do it over and over and over, now you're risking the chance of getting injured. And why do that? So I'm always there to help out, and I think that's the thing. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes and say, "Oh, watch, I can do it better." It's nice when there's a collaborative process where the actor knows, like, hey, let's make this character look like this. They're doing the acting, performing, and then if they know that they need me to step in to do some sort of running movement or take a tackle or something that could put them in danger, but they know that I could just make it bigger and tell the story more, then that's when I want to jump in and help out with that. But it's always just to be a supporting role behind that. And that's where you have to find a relationship because it's hard. Some of the actors will want to do it all and they can do it all, but sometimes the studios will let them, or the safety won't, because the risk goes up, and if they get hurt by one little thing, because you never know when you're going to get hurt, and it's hard to understand that sometimes. But that's why I'm there, and they have me there. Sometimes it's just in case. Sometimes I'm there just in case. Like for instance, I was brought in on The Odyssey to double Robert Pattinson again. he did everything. I was there, working out a sequence, but it came to where they made it so that Rob could do everything, and it worked great. It was a great sequence. The fight he had with Matt Damon.
Right on. I want to pivot a little bit quickly because I know we're coming up close to time, and you're doing conventions now. You're making some con appearances, and we've got a question from Star Wars Hunter. Do you have any Comic-Cons coming up near Michigan soon?
Michigan. Sure. I have to look. The next one is going to be in Florida, I know, and I have one coming in Prague that. Going to Prague.
Have you ever been to Prague?
No, I've never been.
It's beautiful.
So that one goes in Denmark. So we'll see. We're starting to go around this year. We'll have some time. And I was like, because the ones I've been to before have just been, I don't know. It's been so fun to talk about. I like when people are interested in hearing behind the scenes and talking about the experience, and if it brings them joy, then I would like to share that with them, because I think it's all about stories and getting the stories out there. And if it can bring someone happiness and joy that they would like to hear whatever I have to say, then I would happily do that, and I find that that's the case. Like when I was a kid too, I always wanted to meet people, behind the scenes. Like I always wanted to meet Jackie Chan. I was trying to know a little bit like what happened. I have a question, and to get a chance to meet somebody in person is such a cool thing that you can have, and a great memory that you can keep with you. So if I can help with that, then that's why I want to be there.
Right on. And we'll Star Wars Hunter, just so you know, ICCC announced, and Paul's going to be at ICCC, which is not Michigan, but that is a convention we go to every year, and it's a great convention that loves what you just talked about. People will talk to you about behind the scenes stuff, and they want to know all that stuff. So that's going to be a perfect con for you, because it's a great community. It's a nice size convention. People can just approach and talk, and there will be a lot of nerds there that want to know about the behind the scenes stuff. So you'll get a lot of.
It's cool. You can talk about the helmets. You can talk about the fit. You can talk about all. I don't know. It's just cool to also understand how much people really know about it, and then you can just tell the experience. Or if they have one question, if you can help them fill in that blank that they're curious about. That's such a great feeling.
Yeah, right on. So one kind of question to wrap it up a little bit, and what we're all family men on this show, so we've all got families, we've all raised kids, and what do your kids think about you being in Star Wars? Are they, what's kind of their reactions, or is it just like, that's just dad?
I don't know. I have a full grasp on that in a sense. I'm wondering, are they proud that dad's in it, or do they think it's cool or not? Because they don't say so much, but I hear their other friends will, if I go to school, drop off, oh, that's the stuntman. Oh, he was in Star Wars. Or they'll say, oh, that was Marak. And I'll hear the friends actually say something about it, but I don't know how much they do. But I do think they think it's kind of cool, but just for a little bit, and then it's just like,
right,
whatever they're into,
yeah.
It's fun. I like being with them. I like to, it's just fun.
Right on. Well, Paul, we've really enjoyed having you on the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you for spending some time with us. One of the things I wanted to let you know, so all guests on the show become honorary members of the Brown Squadron, which is our squadron here on the show. With that, you get a flight designation and a call sign. So you will go on the books as Brown 87. We pull all of our call signs from Star Wars, of course, because we're a Star Wars show, and we save the named characters, for the performers that perform them. So obviously the obvious choice would be Marak, as your call sign for us, but unless there was some sort of other Star Wars nickname that you'd want instead.
No, I like that.
All right.
That's my favorite character to perform and play, and that would be wonderful because that was my favorite.
Right on. Thanks again. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social and everything.
Yeah, if they want to see more from me on Instagram, I'll post some stuff every now and then. Paul J. Darnell there, and we'll see. I'm on a journey to dunk basketball. I've never been able to dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim. I'm so close I can grab it, and I'm like, if my parkour background, why can't I do that? So I'm gonna start posting that and see where I get. If you see if I can make my goal.
Right on. Well, Paul, it's been an absolute joy. We really appreciate it, you joining us tonight. And I think you've got a trumpet lesson to get to. So why don't you go?
It's been fun to talk. Thank you guys for the time to let me come on and just ask the questions. This was fun, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time, and we will see you in Nashville this summer. So
Right on. It sounds
All
great.
right. All right. Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul.
All right.
thank you.
Yeah. If you need to, we're going to continue the show. So if you want to if you want to go ahead and.
Is it okay if I go? I can leave now so I can take them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
That's.
guys, you can take the best. Thank you so much for your time and working with me. I appreciate it. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Well, that was cool.
What a great guy.
Yeah. Right
Wow.
on. Right on. That was.
I wanted to ask him how he gets that glorious head of hair.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you've got a great hair, Brown Leader, but did you see that mane? Holy
I'm
crap.
Totally
that was
jealous.
Fabio-esque. I mean, that's wow.
Right. And look who we have here. So unboxing. Oh no, it came in time for the end of the show.
No, we just had to let Paul go. He had other commitments, and so
he's a family. He's a family man. He had to, he had some things to get onto. Max, sorry I didn't get to all your questions. I apologize for that. I think I'm going to save those too, and hopefully we'll get to talk to him again when we see him down at Nashville. But yeah, he's a family guy. If you follow him on Instagram, he's real big into his family. So we wanted to support that.
Yeah.
And I was the dad that took all my kids to all their stuff. So, he wanted to get his kid to this trumpet lesson, and we're going to, and just the fact that we got to spend 50 minutes with him was pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked with that. So
he just listening to him, and man, he's got such a great perspective on what he does and how he does it. And I mean, to hear him talk about Rosario Dawson being that beam of light on the set, and wow. And Tom Hardy being lighter than you would think.
Right.
Who would know?
Right.
And I had a question all lined up, and I forgot to ask, and I was going to ask it just for Scruffy. I was going to ask if he's in any Star Trek, projects.
There was nothing in his IMDb.
But, there's always upcoming Star Trek projects. So, maybe we'll get to talk to him in Nashville at ICCC.
So Unboxing here agrees with you about the hair. So DB could use that head of hair right on. And Max, thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. And Star Wars Hunter 1899, great interview, guys. Thank you. And so this is the Star Wars Hunter that we talked about last week. We gave the shout out to. We've got one of the 8 booked in a couple of weeks. We're gonna I think it's Romero, another Mando we're gonna have on the show in 2 weeks. I don't have the graphics ready for that, but yeah, Star Wars Hunter, you're the man. He's the one that's hooked us up with some additional leads for some additional actors, including other Mandos, which, got to represent. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Max Rebo Experience. I've been listening while walking around Walmart. Mrs. Rebo is giving me dirty looks. So I'm going to have to catch the rest on replay. Max, have a good night, sir. Thanks for joining us. And yeah. DB, I'll share my hair secret. It's turtle wax from Maya.
Maya, we have the same hairdo, man. Come on.
Right now, yeah. So some of the other questions we didn't get to. Max Rebo, what was the climbing up cliff face like the '60s Batman? Yeah, and he probably would have understood that reference too. So yes. He's old enough to do that. But yeah, what a nice guy. Paul was super sweet. We were supposed to have him back in the fall. But we had to cancel. He had to cancel at last minute due to booking a gig, and paying the bills is more important than coming on a 2-bit podcast show. But we appreciate him finally carving the time out for us, and also want to give a shout out to World Tree Talent Agency. So Mike over at World Tree, he's the one that's been hooking us up with these interviews. Met him at ICCC, and he's also hooking us up with our guest for next week, which is Tate Fletcher. So that's going to be pretty dope.
Another Michigan guy.
A Michigan boy. Absolutely. A Northern Michigan boy.
Yes.
On top of that.
Boy, did you see Paul's face light up when I told him I knew where Gloucester, Virginia was?
Right. And I'm actually, so I spent 5 years in Fairfax.
Yeah.
So,
So you're familiar.
I did, yeah, up on the northern side of it.
Yeah.
So still a lot of trees back in the day. That was back in the early 80s. Lived right on Route 1, or just off of Route 1, running through the state of Virginia.
Yeah, I have a good friend from Gloucester, and it's all part of Hampton Roads. It's a beautiful part of the country. So
Right
down
on.
the Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton area. So
Oh, okay. All right. That paints a better picture for me.
yeah, southeast. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh yeah, wow. Just looking at some images right now. That's pretty cool. But yeah, wow, what an interview. So and then those of you online watching the show or listening to it after the fact, we've got Tate Fletcher on next week. Was also Mando, a bunch of other stuff. So send in your questions if you'd like us to ask us. Tune in for that as well. But yeah, I don't know where to go for after that.
I know. I mean, my adrenaline's so up, and then I don't even have anything for collection corner, so I don't know where to go. So let's take 5 minutes and have Trek talk for Scruffy's benefit.
Oh, that sounds like a real great thing.
He will burn down my office.
I guess the Empire magazine that we showed the covers for the other week dropped today, so people are pretty excited about that. There was also, and I'm going to see if I can find that post, a double shuttle microgalaxy set coming out. And
What?
yeah, Star Wars Toy Collector, I think. Did he post that? That's not on his Instagram.
There's somebody we got to get back on the show.
Yeah.
That guy knows more about collecting. Man.
Did he post it? No, it was probably Microgalaxy. It was probably who posted it.
I'm disappointed that none of our local brick and mortar retailers have a real good selection of Micro Galaxy Squadron, and you got to order them online.
I know.
I like the hunt. I like going in the store looking for these things because I love the MGS. You guys know that.
Yeah, I've been I've been making excuses to switch. I'm like, oh, you need something at the store? I'll run over. I'll every chance I get, just on the because like Blitz Transmissions posted that he got a Razor Crest already. And posted
the new Razor Crest.
Yes, posted that, which isn't it's just supposed to be register locked until the 22nd, so another 10 days. And he here it is. Micro Galaxy Squadron posted it. I'll see if I can throw that up on the screen. So
two shuttles.
It's a double Tidarian set.
What?
And there's the back of the box. And,
are they identical?
I think so. And it looks like it comes with an Imperial Guard, Palpatine, I think Vader. It's kind of hard to tell in this picture. And then some pilots, and it looks like maybe a droid, a black protocol droid or something. So but this was, I don't know if I had showed you guys this. I might have shown you this at work, but there's an A-Wings or a Y-Wing set.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with the red markings like the old die-cast.
Yeah. So that's going to be kind of cool. But yeah, I keep, we're who is it? I Am Anakin's father posted some stuff down at his Walmarts. He's in Virginia as well, I believe, and was definitely super jealous of some of that because it's like ours just doesn't get. They ain't found shit.
To quote Tuvok. Oh wait, no, that was a different character Tim Russ played. Okay,
right.
I love the fact that everybody knows who Tuvok is, but when you say Tim Russ, they all know it's the guy with the pick from Spaceballs.
Right. Right. I love. Have you ever seen that little clip that floats around on the internet where he's talking about, I've spent all these years in acting and I've done this and this, but what people continually ask me about is, yeah. So, so we're going to have this guy on in a couple weeks, thanks to Star Wars Hunter. He is a background Mando, done a lot of stuff. Daniel Romero, follow him on Instagram. And that's going to be exciting to talk to him at some point in 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks from today.
Yeah. Can never get enough Mandos on the show.
No, heck no.
No.
We'll have our own regiment of Brown Squadron Mandos.
Maybe we need to become Mandos instead of fighter pilots. I mean,
Mandos are fighter pilots. I mean, they've got.
Well, that's true. They got better helmets, though.
That's true. They do have better helmets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know where to follow up from that. That was a good interview. Paul, thank you again for joining us tonight. And did not get to ask him about Ted. Dang it. Scruffy.
There was so much. And
right.
I wanted to talk to him more about being in Zoham, which was Sandler's movie from 20 years ago. I mean, you don't think of there being stunts in an Adam Sandler movie, but yeah, there was that whole parkour thing.
Right. Yep. And I was so excited when he talked about growing up in the forest in Virginia and Ewoks, loving the Ewoks and the tree forts and the bridges and the wow, what a great influence to how that influenced his career is
right.
So interesting.
Do you know what I was thinking when he was talking about that? If you've ever been to Disney, and I think it's closed now, they used to have something called the Tom Sawyer Island or the Swiss Family Robinson Island or something, where there was big tree houses. Couldn't they do something like that with an Ewok village? Just for the big kids like you and me and Paul. I mean, because tree houses are always cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, well, you know what? Let me find my sound bar here and I know you don't have really anything for Collection Corner, but we've got some stuff that we can definitely talk about.
Oh, yes.
Find my sound music. Where is it? Here we go.
I want it all. Keep no time to a proxy plan. I want it all.
All right, Collection Corner. I have to listen to an audio playback, see how that comes across. So Collection Corner tonight, as DV had mentioned, he doesn't really have anything for Collection Corner tonight, but I had one thing. So last week I'd shown a bunch of stuff. I changed offices, and my new roommate doesn't give me as much space. He's got boxes piled everywhere.
He's a jerk.
And so I took a bunch of my stuff home when I was cleaning out my old office, and one of the other things that I showed off a lot of it last week. One of the things I forgot to, and this is from one of my employees in that department that I just departed. I think Cheese gave me this, and it's one of those nice tin sign.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. Can't go wrong with that, right?
No.
Problem though is it's like I don't know, and so I'm kind of thinking I don't know what's the chat think. Should I? It's light enough I could mount it to this under part of the ceiling. I'm just not sure if that would be kind of cool. Oh, actually, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, it'd be great on camera right there. A little right there, right there.
Oh, perfect.
Hold it there the rest of the show, please.
There we go.
It's light enough that you could do that.
Yeah. So any fans in the Grand Rapids area, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this is a good piece for Collection Corner. So this Saturday is Star Wars night at the Grand Rapids Griffins hockey game. And so one of my boys that lives locally, we're going to go down and hook up with Brownie One and hit the Griffins game, Star Wars night for that. I'll be in my Hyperspace Heroes uniform. So
yeah,
if you see me, say hi, stop and say hi. And
that's a great arena for hockey too.
It is. And they're a great team. They're they're on fire. And then the other thing I have for Collection Corner, an announcement. I've got one more thing to show, but for an announcement. Oh, and for those that didn't believe he was Robert Pattinson's stunt double. So here he is with Robert Pattinson. And I find it cool when I saw on IMDb that 14 years later, he's with them again in 2 more movies. I think that's cool. That's why I wanted to ask what was the relationship like between actors and because obviously there is something there because, if they're calling him back for to work with
Yeah.
Robert again. That's kind of cool, you know. And yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Timothy Oliphant, because I had that written down too, that he was the stunt double for Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
You know? We all know how I feel about Timothy Oliphant. So sexiest man in Star Wars. After Scruffy, of course. But that was so cool. I mean, he's done so much. When I saw his IMDb at 74 credits, it's like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Anyway, Squirrel, the announcement. So ICCC announced another guest, and we wanted to make sure we announced that during Collection Corner. Mr. John Ratzenberger. And now that's
a catch.
That is a catch. And if you don't understand why, you're just too young, probably. But the fact that we're getting John Ratzenberger at ICCC is pretty dope. And yes, he did not have a large part in Empire Strikes Back, but the fact is he's in Empire Strikes Back and I'm not. Yes. So I'm super jealous of that. And and then this was one of those DB's blockbusters. If you look in the upper left-hand corner from because we talked about it when we watched Outland. He's in Outland, so there's the picture from there.
Yeah,
obviously everybody knows him as the pig from Toy Story, Piggy Bank, and then the truck in Cars.
I think hasn't he done at least one voice in every Pixar movie?
I think he may have, or at least a ton of them, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, John Ratzenberger, ICCC, that is going to be very cool. If there's a chance to talk to him, that's going to be very cool. You know, and then of course his most infamous role that everybody knows him is from Cheers as Cliff.
I've heard of that show.
Yeah, that's everybody wants to know your name. Then my final piece of Collection Corner tonight, and fitting because I got this in the mail today, and it was very fitting because, you know, talking to an actor that has played a bunch of different Mandos, Shriek Mando being the most probably his most famous one. I picked this up. Obviously, this is not his real signature, Mr. Jeremy Bulloch, but I wanted something up on the wall here, and I've got a space right over here off camera that'll be perfect for it. But you know, when you talk about OGs, you know, and I saw that online, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I'm gonna represent the OG Mando himself on the wall up here and give him a place of tribute because Jeremy was the man. You know, Jeremy created a character for me that Inf was a huge part of my childhood. Loved Boba Fett, much to Scruffy's dismay, and obviously I went the whole Mando route once Mando came out. So, but yeah, that's what I've got for Collection Corner on that.
I'll tell you, my Collection Corner will be spectacular next week.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, tomorrow, the day after we're taping this, tomorrow is Friday the 13th, and I get to go on another road trip for my daughter's cheer team, and Scruffy's not here to make fun of me for the cheer bit. So here's your opportunity. All right, there we go. But
Sorry, it took me a second to find that.
Yeah, no. I get to go to Louisville, Kentucky, and straight on my route from here to Louisville, Kentucky is Kokomo, Indiana.
There we go. Right.
And what's in Kokomo? Kokomo Toys.
You got it.
And got to make at least one annual trip there. So I'm going to go visit Kokomo Toys tomorrow, and I'm taking the missus, and she will see how much money I actually spend there now.
Where is what's our friend from ICCC?
Oh, Nick. Nick Holmes. Nick Holmes.
Didn't he open up a store somewhere around Kokomo?
He's just east of Kokomo. I can't remember the name of the town. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping maybe I can hit that one on the way back next week. Because I don't think we'll have time to do two stores, but I think he's a 10 or 15 miles east of Kokomo. I cannot remember the name of the town, but Nick's a good guy. He and his significant other have a store there.
Right on. Right on. Comment from Maya. I think this is about John Ratzenberger. His best role is the electrician adventurer in House 2. There you go.
I wouldn't know that role.
Mhm.
I want it all. Hey, yeah. I want it all. I want it all. Hey, yeah. I want it all. And I want it mint now.
And I'll have to check Carbonites, because I don't know if he already has an Ahsoka out or a Maroc out or not. So Vincent, if you're listening to this, if you have not done an Ahsoka yet, or a Maroc, you may need to before ICCC, so that I can take that down there. And I'm checking really quick just to see if does he even have an Ahsoka set? I don't see one on here.
He needs a Maroc. Just saying.
I don't even see an Ahsoka. Oh, Vincent, come on, man.
And he's not here to defend himself. So
I know. I'm looking at his. As long as we're giving him crap, let's show him some love, and we'll zip on over to his site really quick. So I'm looking at TV shows. We've got Book of Boba Fett. We've got The Mandalorian, obviously. Visions. The Acolyte. There's some A's here. But no. Yeah, I'm not seeing any coding for Ahsoka. So I wonder if he's got if there's any wind. Oh, no, that's Fennec. No, doesn't look like any. So yeah, Vincent, when you listen to this replay, we need a Maroc and we need a Senator Ziono, and so that we can go ahead and give those to those performers when they see them down at ICCC this year, and charge me whatever you want to charge me. If you want to do a special set or whatever, let me know, and I'll definitely pick that up.
Hey, so maybe you can do an ICCC set. We can throw a Ratzenberger in there as a.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh,
yeah,
that's a cool idea.
We'll get all the actors that we can in one set. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll commission that. Yeah.
Yeah, an ICCC, because he just did, and if you're not following the March Madness with Blitz Transmissions, they're doing a fun, just like they did a Black Series Most Wanted before the holidays. They're doing a March Madness on the TVC line of, and go over to Blitz Transmissions. He's one of the accounts. There's somebody else, and I have not voted on theirs, but if you go to Blitz Transmissions YouTube channel every day, you can vote on that bracket. Sometimes there's multiple brackets in a day, and vote on your favorite TVC characters. And I've been making sure to hit that every day just to cast my votes. So
you need to be heard, don't you?
Right, absolutely.
Hey, I before we move on, I looked it up, and Greentown, Indiana, is Rescued Toys. And it's Nick Smith McCombs is a fellow we've met through ICCC, and he owns that new store there in Greentown, Indiana. I want to give him a shout out because great guy, great products.
Right on. All right, let's get on to our favorite segment of the show, and
Trek Talk.
Yeah.
Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dad joke of the week.
All right, Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week, courtesy of Kelly Knox's Star Wars Dad Jokes. And we have moved on from the Admiral Akbar series of jokes, and this is a Lando joke. So, why did Lando Calrissian work in Cloud City?
I don't know. Why did Lando Calrissian work in Cloud City?
He wanted a low-pressure job.
That was Dad Joke of the Week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
And there we go, Star Wars Dad Joke.
Nope.
I did. Oh, you know what? I did get something else in collection corner. I didn't even think to bring it down. So I had showed a couple weeks ago. I got a belated Christmas present. It was the Grogu Chia Pet in the pram, and when I opened it, there was no chia seeds in there.
What?
So I ordered some, and those arrived today too. So I can actually chia tonight when we get off air. So yeah, right on.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing either. So Brown 87 Maracas joined the crew tonight. Like I said, next week, definitely, keep an eye out. We're gonna have Tate Fletcher. I'll start doing the advertising for that here pretty soon. But Tate Fletcher will be joining us next week here on the show to talk about his adventures in acting. And he's been a stunt performer, and he's been on screen as like somebody threw in the comments last week is Echuto Mendo or whatever his line was from season 1, episode 1. And I can't wait to talk to Tate. So he owned a coffee company at one time called Caveman Coffee.
What?
Yeah, I was listening to it. He does a podcast, or he hasn't done a podcast in a while, but he had a podcast. His last episode was 2019, I guess, called Pirate Radio. And I listened to the very last episode that he did, and it was a good episode. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And so I don't know if let's see if Caveman Coffee still is. So yeah, I guess it's still a thing. So yeah, we'll definitely ask him about Caveman Coffee when he comes on the show. And unless we're not supposed to, we'll see. But yeah, Tate Fletcher next week. Definitely join us for that. So yeah, it's a shorter show tonight. Actually, is it still? We had daylight savings. Nope, it's dark out, so we won't get to any of that. But yeah, you know where to find us. Follow us on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can email us at brownsquadron@gmail.com. Share this episode by all means. We're putting out reels now, shorts and stuff, so please share those. Spread the word. Give us a follow on one of those social medias or all of them. And then on YouTube, subscribe, click that bell so you get notified when there's announcements. And then for all of our links, if you're confused by all of that and I talk too fast, you can reach us at beacons.ai/Brown Squadron. Any parting thoughts before we get out of here, DV?
No, my brain is empty.
Right on. From Unboxing, have a good evening, sir. You as well. Smash that like button like Paul Darnell's Praetorian Guard smashed the back of Paz Vizsla's knee in Mando season episode 3. So
wow.
There we go.
That's a deep dive, but
It is a deep dive.
very apropos. So good.
So yeah, all right. With that, this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon. Was it good for you?